Do my little
All
coin
right,
roll.
we're here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Pastrami Nation podcast. I'm your host, Kevin, and joining me today, co-founder of Pastrami Nation himself, Mr. Jason Smith. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic, man. And of course, Mr. Huckleberry. I'm your Huckleberry, Mr. Val Kilmer over here. Mr. Christian DeCorda, how you doing today?
You know,
sir?
I was late to the game on that movie. I didn't watch that as a kid. I probably saw it recently, like within the last couple of years.
It's so good.
But immediately, Val
I'm not
Kilmer
even
steals
a-
that movie.
I'm not even a Western fan, right? Like
Same.
I generally don't watch them, but that movie, it's just incredible. It's so good. What's up,
Yeah.
Pablo? How's it going?
Hey, Pablo.
Thank you guys for joining us today. And as usual, please like and subscribe to wherever you're listening to us or watching us. If you're on YouTube, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Anywhere on social media, we appreciate any kind of shares or anything like that. So feel free to share it away, tell your friends about the show, and we'd be more than happy if you guys can do that. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about the Oscars. The Oscars just passed this Sunday, October. What the heck? Feels like it was October because the whole year has been crazy. But the Oscars were on Sunday. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. I'm supporting my Goonies
Yes.
guy, Ke Huy Quan, man, that guy. I will talk about that in a second. We're also going to talk about Comic-Con. It is Comic-Con season. It's upon us. We're going to talk a little bit about Emerald City Comic-Con and talk about what other cons we're excited for and what else is coming up. And we're also going to talk about The Last of Us a little bit. We're not going to do any spoilers, but we'll kind of give overall thoughts. Me and Christian have finished the season. Jason hasn't yet, but that's why we're not going to spoil it yet for you guys. So please keep spoilers out of the comments if possible during this live show. That'd be greatly appreciated, and for all the people out there who have not watched it. So Jason had a lot of fun yesterday because he went to Disneyland.
It was the happiest place on earth.
Happiest place on earth.
Yeah, and
especially during spring break when it's not our spring break.
Yeah, when it's everybody else's spring break and they're just it seemed like line con for a little bit. But what I did like is like a lot of the classic rides that I like the Jungle Cruise and like the Dumbos and stuff. Those are easy, You just get on.
Did you guys get on Splash Mountain? I meant to ask.
No, I wanted to. That was it said 230 minutes or something.
Ooh.
I was like,
Ooh.
no.
Yeah.
And then Haunted Mansion said 90 minutes, and we are going to do that one after Jungle Cruise. After that, it said temporarily closed.
Oh, of course.
Even the Disneyland Express was closed, which was a bummer because
that
I always
sucks.
do a circle around that,
Yeah.
And it just seemed like, and then it was like an unusual amount of people for a Monday. And come to find out, talking to a gentleman behind me who was from Vancouver, and he's like, yeah, every other state but yours is on spring break right now. I was like, makes sense. Looking at the crowds that we had, a lot of high schoolers and college kids. What was also cool seeing was a lot of family reunions, where they're wearing it says Gonzalez family reunion with the Disney logo. I think that's cool when they do a family reunion and they're all wearing the same shirt and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool. I'd like to get all my family together and do a family reunion sort of thing like that. And it was cool. I picked up this awesome X-Wing helmet. If it even fits my big head, and this visor is so cool because it goes down so.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's totally
one of those.
The money, pretty solid helmet. The awful truth is you can't wear them in the park. Any elaborate headwear or costumes is not permitted. So my dreams of wearing that X-Wing helmet or riding a Dumbo have been shot down.
That's no fun, man. That's no fun. Disney needs to get up. They need to change that.
Yeah,
I get it because it's not like you're wearing a mask. You're just
you can see my face, but that's considered elaborate headwear according to their guidelines.
Interesting.
How cool would that be to go on Space Mountain when it takes your picture?
Dude, that would be awesome.
Man, I bet you I could sneak it on. I don't know. When you get on the ride and just kind of slip it on. That'd be a hell of a picture.
That would definitely be, especially when you're getting escorted out by security.
They won't sell you the picture if you do anything inappropriate.
Right.
You did something inappropriate by breaking the rules.
Well, no, man. Well, I'm happy to hear you had fun. It's been your first time back in like what, since 2016, you said?
2016, yeah,
Dude,
and
that's
that
awesome.
last trip in 2016 kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because
No.
I won't talk about it. Went with some
It's all
chick.
right.
Yeah, that's all I'll
No.
say. But it's like, and I had a season pass, so I kind of let that go the rest of that year, which was a bummer because like August through December, I still had like a good 4 more months, and I just didn't.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
And
No, completely.
yeah, season
Things happen,
pass.
and
What's that?
no, I said things happen, and I'm glad you
Oh
got the
yeah,
taste back in your mouth for it. You
relive the
want to go
magic.
back. That's awesome,
I did go on the
man.
little, what brought back the child in me? I went on the Little Mermaid ride, the big seashells,
Oh yeah,
and
Oh,
like just
that's
something about
actually
those plastic,
underrated.
that
yeah, with
ride's
the
amazing.
Yeah,
yeah, those
I love
animatronics
that
and
ride.
stuff. That really like brings you back down to a kid again.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
it's a really
100%.
well done dark ride.
Hey, they
It is.
changed the Jungle Cruise though. Like the natives aren't in there anymore.
Yeah,
Did they
I,
really? Oh, that
when they
sucks.
used to like, oh no, we're coming across natives and they're shooting the darts at you.
yeah.
That's all gone now.
Oh dang! I feel
Like
like I just saw that. That's crazy.
you go through
Yeah.
there again and there's like some chimps and like a boat,
Oh,
and
that's what
then
it
you go
was.
around,
Right.
there's another elephant. I feel like they put another elephant over there where the natives
Yeah.
should have been.
Yeah, no, hey, it's a sign of the times, man. People gotta,
Yeah.
it's things are changing.
Mm.
That's okay.
It
It
was good. It
happens.
was
It's
good.
still an enjoyable experience, which is fantastic. Speaking of the Little Mermaid, we did get a new Little Mermaid trailer for the live action version during the Oscars, which aired this Sunday. We'll talk about that in a second. First, let's talk about the Oscars. So I'm assuming, I don't know if you guys actually watched the ceremony. Did you guys watch the ceremony?
Yeah.
Be honest.
I actually did not watch the whole thing,
I
but
know.
I
Well,
was keeping up with everything.
The
So
Last of Us, right? The Last of Us was going on the same night.
that was my
Um,
priority.
and it's funny too. The Oscars themselves, they're not very high on the ratings anymore, which is understandable. The Last of Us, when it was going up against the Super Bowl, it released its episode 2 days early, right? It released its episode on a Friday, not to go up against Super Bowl. The Oscars, they didn't even bother, and they don't have to, right? Because the Oscars is a very niche thing. The Super Bowl is a worldwide phenomenon, right? Like you're not going to
Yeah.
go up against the Super Bowl. The Oscars, you might. I actually watched the Oscars because I'm a nerd like that, and I had to. I like to see things as it happens, like especially like last year, you had everyone was talking about the slap, right? But it's like I saw it while it was happening, and I was like,
Yes.
what is going on? Like, what is happening? This is bizarre.
Mhm.
So I like to watch it, not necessarily for bad stuff like that, but to kind of rejoice in the moment. Um, and of course, they kicked off the show right away with Best Supporting Actor, which was, man,
Oh, so good.
everyone was on edge. Everyone was like, who's going to win this one? When they announced Ke Huy Quan, my God, not just in, we had a few people over and stuff to watch it, not just in the auditorium, but in the house. It was loud. It was crazy. People were so excited. I was overjoyed, I guess is the word. I almost started crying. It was exciting. This guy, we know the story. We know he's been out for a while and he's back in. And the night turned out to be a really, really fun night. Everything Everywhere All at Once took home pretty much everything,
Almost
all of
swept.
the major
Yeah.
awards, which is pretty incredible, that a movie as kind of, I don't want to say specific, but as weird and as unique and as interesting as Everything Ever All at Once won pretty much everything. Like I said, they swept all of the major categories. Jamie Lee Curtis won for Best Supporting Actress, even though I still think it should have been Stephanie Hsu. But
Yes.
I'm so happy Jamie Lee Curtis has an Oscar finally,
Yes.
which blows my mind. Like that she does not have one.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh. I mean, you
yeah.
can't
Of
argue with
course.
that.
Yeah.
Best screenplay, best directors,
Best
and
picture.
then best picture. Like it's incredible. A24 is the first studio in history to take home every single major award. Because Brendan Fraser won for best picture for The Whale, which was an A24 film. Now I don't know if you guys, watching the Oscars for a long time. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was all Miramax's game, right? Miramax was number one. He Who Shall Not Be Named was he was the king of the Oscars for a long time.
Yeah.
But not even Miramax was able to pull off that feat. Here comes A24, giving us movies that people want to see. And that's, I think, where the Oscars are headed. They're showing that you don't have to be an Oscar baity movie to win, right? Like Everything Ever All at Once is probably the furthest thing from an Oscar baity movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
It's just a good movie. I think this is a sign. This is a sign of the times, and I think more people are going to start to grasp on. Hopefully, they learn the right lessons from it. But I think we're all in agreement here that that's kind of where we wanted it to go. Correct?
Yes. What was the award? There was one they didn't win. Was it the sound one or?
Well, so they won most of the like the big ones.
They won
like
the important ones.
Stuff. Yeah, the important ones. The sound went to
Top Gun.
Top Gun. Yeah. Top Gun Maverick. You know, but when it comes to things like editing and stuff, like again, something like editing, you watch something like Everything Ever All at Once, and you're like, how does that not win editing? Right? Like the closest thing I could think of was Elvis, because it was so flashy and so much stuff going on. But it even swept that one. But yeah, like things like sound, obviously, like it didn't win. I think a couple like best costumes, things like that. I want to say Wakanda Forever actually won for
costume
design.
Yes, costume design. And yeah, so I mean, overall, I thought it was a very, very satisfying ceremony. The winners were who we wanted to win, which I think was fantastic. The speeches were just out of this world. Like Brendan, who?
Oh God!
Listen,
okay.
Listen. You're watching Brendan Fraser movies in the '90s. Like whoever, like, and this is not a slight to Brendan Fraser at all, but who was sitting there being like, this guy's gonna win an Oscar someday.
Encino Man's gonna win an Oscar.
Yeah, who was watching Encino Man and like these two guys?
Yeah,
give it a couple decades, but I see these guys on the stage.
Encino Man in Short Round.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of editing, did you guys catch Jimmy Kimmel's little jab? He's like, editing's very important. You can take 47 hours of violent insurrection footage and edit it down to a 2-hour sightseeing tour to the White House.
Exactly. Yeah, because the police were escorting them in, whatever.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah. So, I mean, I know you guys said you didn't watch it, but
I did.
You guys, oh, you did. Okay,
yeah,
you did watch it. Okay, it was a fun show. Like I had fun, and we actually printed out like ballot cards and had a lot of fun with it this year.
The Lady Gaga performance. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That was my favorite performance. Well, I liked those guys, the Indian guys, RRR.
Natu.
That was awesome.
I was so happy they won. I was so happy they won, man. They had to.
I feel like the sound mixing on especially Rihanna's performance, I was like, man, her vocals were too low. And then I think like the piano was too loud. Like there was something I'm like, oh my God, where's the sound editor right now? Like, but it was awesome. But yeah, Gaga's performance was fantastic.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she comes out just like, I was like, wait,
completely dressed down, no makeup. Like it was awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah, the performances were great. Like I love that they what was a 3 hour and 40-minute show, I think, or 3 hours and 30 minutes, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of filler. Like a lot of the times they try to do like the little funny skits and stuff like that. Just, generally doesn't really land very well, and it makes the show go on for way too long.
Yeah.
But this time, it was good length. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So Everything Ever All at Once.
Good. Just seeing Quay hugging Harrison Ford at the end of that was like awesome,
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So many beautiful moments.
I think with the Jamie Lee Curtis thing, while I'm happy and I love Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm really happy for her. I still feel I was rooting for Stephanie to win it. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like as much as I'm happy that Jamie Lee Curtis won it. I don't even think she was the best supporting actress in that movie.
Not at all.
But like my big upset, and I've been talking about this for a while. I knew it was gonna win. I don't think it should have won. I thought Pinocchio was great, and I loved it. But we're living in the world where Puss in Boots exists.
Yeah. No,
that's the real pick in my opinion. But I get it. I totally understand why Pinocchio won. It's like
I was honestly so I love Pinocchio. I was actually going for Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Yes.
Nice. Truly, I truly love that movie. Have you guys watched it at all yet?
Not yet. I want to.
You did, Jason?
I did, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a
That's such
cute
an out
movie.
there kind of movie too. You
It
know?
is. Well, I loved it. I adored it. I thought the show was just cute. Like it was. I thought it was. I liked Pinocchio, but I was kind of in the same boat where I wanted something else to win, like
Yeah.
Marcel. Puss in Boots would have been good too. And to be 100% honest, as much as I adored Turning Red, I felt like that was just the obligatory Disney
Yeah.
entry into it. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought it was great, but Oscar worthy. I don't know.
Not so
I don't think
much.
so as
Yeah.
much.
Now, have you guys
But
seen The Whale yet? 'Cause I want to see that.
I
I've
have
not seen
not.
The Whale yet.
Yeah, I have
I
not
gotta-
seen The
No.
Whale. So, I mean, who got aside from Brendan Fraser? Because I know we're all happy to see him
Mhm.
win. But did you guys have a separate pick for Best Actor, or
No,
were you
probably-
Austin
rooting for
Butler,
Brendan?
you know?
Were you?
Yeah.
I like
Austin
Austin
Butler.
Butler.
Yeah. No, I was rooting for Brendan Fraser, even though I hadn't seen the movie
yeah.
yet. I thought
Right.
that all the other performances I saw were good. Like I think the Banshees of Inisherin
Oh God, no.
was that?
You
You
didn't like
like
it?
that movie?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Oh,
Dude.
I don't know. I was tolerating it until the little donkey died. And I was like, nah, no, now I want that piece
Oh.
of shit to get his head
Yeah.
bashed like he did on Gangs of New York.
So I was kind of like in mid with it, right? Like I didn't fall in love with it like some people did, but I didn't hate it either. I was just
Yeah.
like, this is fine. Like I thought Colin Farrell I thought the performances are what make that movie, right? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
her, Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, even what's her name, Jodie Comer?
Yeah,
Is it?
she's
No,
great.
yeah, she was fantastic, and I honestly thought she was going to win Best Supporting Actor. I thought it was going to go to her.
I thought the kid was pretty good in the movie. The one, the one that-
Barry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Barry
great. He was good too.
Cohagen. I can't say his name.
yeah.
But he's fantastic, and you look at all the nominees. You have Brian Tyree Henry as well, who's
Oh.
incredible. He's just I
Mhm.
haven't seen that movie, but he's just a great actor.
Mhm.
But of course, Kehoe Kwan, like everybody,
He
even
had to
they,
win.
I don't know if you watch any of the reactions, when they first call it and you watch all the other people around them. I feel like his category is the only one who people genuinely were happy for him.
Yeah.
Like everybody in his category was just like Brian Tyree and even the Barry Cohagen, whatever you say his name, their faces just like lit up like no other. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like this is beautiful moment. It's not like Angela Bassett's like stern stare. And
Yeah.
even then, I still think I love Jamie Lee, but I feel like even Angela Bassett gave a better performance in a movie than Jamie Lee Curtis did. I do feel like this was a career. Sorry, we haven't given this to you yet.
Mhm.
Here you go,
Mhm.
kind of Oscar.
Her
But yeah,
speech
that
was
was
great, by the way, too. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah,
and like I said, it's one of those things where I'm not mad about it at all.
Exactly.
I'm just like, we're better. But Jamie Lee Curtis has an Oscar now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was married to Christopher Guest either. That for some reason that blew my mind. But I love Christopher Guest. But anyways, but yeah, Best Actor. It was Brendan Fraser or Colin Farrell. I was pretty sure was going to take it.
Right.
Well deserved though for Brendan Fraser. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man.
well deserved. From the
Man.
Mummy, you look at his character in the Mummy, and you're like, this guy's never winning an Oscar.
Yeah.
I was at the
Dude,
third Mummy when he's like, fight like a man, and like he just laughed when he's trying to be like the tough guy.
Dude, yeah, it was crazy, but yeah, I mean, it was a fun show. It was a good show. So, some people, the people who said we need to save theaters weren't there, but it's okay. Tom Cruise wasn't there.
Yeah, and
James
yeah,
Cameron.
and
But,
Jimmy.
good old Jimmy Cameron.
Yeah.
But yeah, so otherwise it was a really, really fun show. So let's move on to Comic-Con, guys. There's a lot of Comic-Cons coming up. I know Nolan's going to be covering one coming up for Pastrami Nation. I got to do Emerald City Comic-Con. If y'all are watching or listening, check out Pastrami Nation for our full coverage of our full review and coverage of Emerald City Comic-Con. That was a lot of fun. We had a blast. Seattle's always a nice place to have a Comic-Con. It's always a beautiful place to visit, and we had a blast. So are you guys planning on going to any Comic Cons this year? What are you guys excited about this year going to Comic Cons?
Well, we got WonderCon coming up next week, and I think I'm doing a day, like the Saturday. Uh,
Okay.
I know Christian's doing that one too, and my brother and his wife are going. And then, but I'm really looking forward to July, the big San Diego Comic Con. Like that's like the WrestleMania of Comic Cons.
Yeah,
There's
100%.
there's a San Diego one.
Do you guys have tickets and everything already?
Yeah, we were actually able. A friend helped us out to get the 5 day badges. So we
Oh,
haven't had a 5 day pass since 2017. We've just
wow.
kind of about like Sundays or like Thursday and Sun. Last year we had Thursday and Sunday, so we just stayed out there the whole weekend. But
Yeah.
the 5 day, it seems more like a vacation because you're in your hotel, so you don't drive those 5 days. You're taking
Oh no.
Comic
Yeah.
Con shuttles to and from. So it's just like, today I'll do this. I'll go check out this booth. Tomorrow I'll go to Hasbro or wherever. It's a fun little adventure.
Cool. What about you, Christian? What you got? You going to WonderCon?
I am looking at it right now.
Oh,
This
cool.
whole time it's been weird, so we haven't really put a
Understandable.
pin on it. But I think we both still want to go.
Cool.
I'd like to. San Diego also would be fun. The cool thing about San Diego, it's so big, you technically don't have to go to Comic Con to go to Comic Con. They have so many events like outside, which is like really really cool. Yeah, WonderCon's coming up. There's also like a lot of like the little artist cons, like the Lightbox and everything that comes out. Like I
Ooh,
think at
what
the
is
end.
Lightbox? I love
So
Lightbox.
so Lightbox, I highly recommend it, especially it's basically for artist by artist. I think it's like what like all the other ones used to be, but I think a lot of those other smaller like artist conventions have kind of become like really corporate and like uh like not as personable as it used to be. So Lightbox attracts a lot of big artists while not attracting all of the big corporations. So it's still relatively accessible. And I think because it's so new and it's so small, like you have that like I don't know. I just felt like there was this like nice atmosphere, and everybody just seemed so like happy to see everybody.
That's
Um,
the one in Pasadena, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
have been there. Yes, that is
yeah.
like Comic Con before the big boxes took over.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's really, really cool. These panels are awesome. You get to talk to like these huge, huge artists like one on one, which I think is cool. And like, it's kind of a really cool place to get your portfolio taken a look at. So, um, if you're a young artist in the area, or if you can make it to the area, Lightbox is something I definitely highly recommend. I know they usually do it like in September, August time. So,
Well
but yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, San Diego's always the big fun one.
How easy is it? Is it really tough still to get? Is it really tough to get tickets for San Diego Comic Con?
Mm, they sell out, like they put you in this waiting room, and it's like the most frustrating wait because like it'll say please do not refresh, and then all of a sudden you get prompts that say like Saturday badges or 5 day badges are running low. Then the Saturdays go after that,
Mm,
and then ours we hadn't gotten any response. We're getting a little worried. Uh, Nolan had a friend who was able to get through, and they allow you to buy for up to 3 people. So he's like, my wife got through and got her and the 2 kids. You want me to get you guys and just shoot me them? Okay, sure. So he
dude,
hooked it up
nice.
for us. So we're like,
Dude, that's
sweet.
awesome. I want to go to San Diego so bad.
Oh, it is like, wow. You got like just and being in that gas lamp district of San Diego,
yeah.
Hmm.
just all the different like I'm a fan of those style restaurants, the outdoor patio restaurants.
Yeah, yeah.
One time we got into this Irish pub and we were on the upstairs like patio balcony, and it was cool because like you're just seeing life as it's going on, congoers, and you're up there just eating your Irish dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Comic Con, because yeah, the gas lamp district, you can be sitting at a restaurant and like in the table next to you, like Batman and Catwoman are feverishly eating
Or
their
Lou
food.
Ferrigno could be sitting there next to you,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we saw one time. Like that, I didn't want to like interrupt his dinner or nothing. But I'm like, that's Lou Ferrigno.
I've bumped into Lou Ferrigno more than a few times. He's the nicest guy.
Yeah, you see
I was like looking at a book place, like comic books, and I remember I was like looking this way while moving this way, and I thought I hit like a big metal wall. It was Lou Ferrigno. It was technically a big metal wall. But I was like, oh, sorry. And then he was like, I was like, oh my God. He was just like, no problem. He was really nice.
Yeah, like it's cool. And when you meet these people and they're like cool, like because you meet some of them and they're not so pleasant. Like who did we meet? Like everybody was talking crap about Rob Liefeld. We met him. He was like the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah, I heard he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he sat there and just chatted up with us. And then Todd McFarlane was really cool. And then who did we meet? We met some of the wrestlers from the WWE, and like CM Punk is the biggest douchebag in the world.
Oh
like,
no!
I could imagine.
Guy, like him, no, like and but then he was at the same table as Sheamus, the big Irish guy. Super cool, super cool. Cody Rhodes was awesome. Jim Lee was great. You know, my favorite of all Comic Cons though was Pat Lee. Pat Lee did the Dreamwave Transformers back in the early 2000s, back when Transformer comics were scary, because Pat Lee was a genius, you know. And he retold the Generation 1 story of Transformers in the first 2 Dreamwave runs. And his art was just like, wow, you know. Like he was always the number 1 on the Wizard magazine for top artist of the month. And second Comic-Con I ever went to, I won a private art session with Pat Lee.
And that's cool.
We were always hanging around the Dreamwave booth, and the girls like, enter our raffle. And then 5 people got picked to have a private art session with Pat Lee. And then afterward, he sketched each of us something. So I still have that Optimus Prime sketch up on my wall in the other room.
That's awesome.
Like, super cool guy, you know?
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. I was just about to ask what your guys' favorite con memories are, but I think that was actually pretty good. You pretty much went over a lot of stuff. Christian, what was your kind of favorite con memory ever? Was it running into Lou Ferrigno?
That was wonderful. There's a lot of memories I have. I think it's Mike Mignola. I'm a huge Mignola fan.
Oh yeah,
like the nice.
But yeah, I've got to talk with him a couple of times. I think the best time was Lightbox. He was just in a good mood, which is not always the case I get it. They have to sit there for hours on end talking to everybody repeatedly. Right. So he was just really open, really cool. I got to discuss with him the end of Hellboy, and he kind of shared with me how sad he was that it's over. But I don't know, it was really cool, man. He's a prolific artist and writer, and
yeah,
I've always looked up to him. So that's really cool. But yeah, the Lightbox again is just like shorter lines. All the artists are accessible. Highly recommend it. It's really cool.
Nice.
What about you, Kevin?
This past one, I got to meet the cast of Scream, which was pretty incredible.
That's pretty big.
Got to get a picture with them, which was pretty amazing. Again, those photo ops, though, you don't really get a lot of time. You're like take the picture, and you're out. Just be in the same room, in the same space. There was something about that experience. And then past weekend, we went to go watch Scream 6. So it was kind of a whole, like, last weekend we met the Scream cast, and then this weekend we watched Scream 6. So it was a pretty fun Scream experience. I've never really had like a horrible experience with anybody. We got to talk to, like I said before, we got to talk to Brendan Wayne, who is in the Mandalorian suit 90% of the time, at Emerald City, and coolest guy. Like, just sat there and just chatted with us for about an hour, just about Mandalorian and behind the scenes stuff. Showed us pictures. Like, he's just this, he had this one picture of him and Robert Rodriguez like playing guitar. Like, it's nice. Just the most. I'm like, you got to work with Robert Rodriguez, hang out and play guitar. Like, that's incredible. It was just, that was really cool. But like, you go to any con, you can, most people are really chill, and they'll talk to you, like they'll chat with you, and they'll, if you're cool with them, they're cool with you, and again, Christian, you've even talked about this before, the kind of, not stress or anxiety, but just having to sit there all day behind a booth or something like that. Right. Like, gets a little frustrating at times. So not everyone's gonna be in the best mood, but still always a lot of fun, man. Like, I think this Emerald City, this was also the first time I've ever experienced Emerald City with my whole family, so that was a lot of fun. Cool. We stayed in downtown Seattle, which is a city that it's honestly probably my favorite city. Like, I love Seattle so much. Like, Seattle's just an amazing city. I'll go there any chance I get for whatever reason. Like,
Mhm.
just send me to Seattle. I'm cool. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and I tend to always find a couple things that I like at each con. So
That's awesome. And
yeah,
those photo ops I think are priceless, like just getting a
dude.
picture. Like I have a few like one with me and Michael Rooker and
Oh, dude,
Oh,
that's cool.
who
That's
was that? I
cool.
met Tyrese Gibson at one Comic Con because he wrote a comic for Image.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, and he was there like signing the comic and doing a photo op. So it was a quick thing, but I'm like, I got a picture with Tyrese Gibson. Like
Right, and
that stuff is to me that you take that with you. Like that's worth more than
Mhm.
any autograph or anything.
yeah,
That's like, hey, that's me in the moment here. Couple of my first Comic Cons, we have one of them where like 'cause we couldn't get to him, but Stan Lee was back there with like 4 security guards. But like I told my brother, I'm gonna just stand right here and take the picture, and like you just see me kind of off to the side and Stan Lee with the security guards over there.
it's
Mhm.
And,
great.
like just
That's
to
great.
me, that's like, hey, I was here with this famous person.
Yeah, like it's bizarre too because you look at the picture after. Like I've been like I look at that picture that we took. I was like, oh my god, like we were there. Like I don't remember a lot of it because it happened so fast. But like looking at the picture, like I'm like, oh my god, like that happened. Like that's so cool, man. Like Matthew Lillard's like right here. He's
Oh,
like breathing on
nice.
my neck. I'm like, dude, like this
That's
is
badass.
Nev Campbell, Skeet Ulrich,
Oh my god, Nev
Jamie
Campbell.
Kennedy's over there. Like it was completely
I
bonkers.
don't
And Matthew
have.
Lillard's
I think I
nice.
only have one photo with a celebrity. And so this is like 2008, 2009. I don't know if you guys remember, but Pee Wee's Playhouse was doing like a tour
Oh
and they
yeah,
were
oh
doing
yeah,
like a live thing.
yeah.
So me and my roommate at the time, Tiffany, we were like, dude, let's go. Super pre-partied in the car, super wasted, by it just in line. And then we're standing in line, then all of a sudden Tiffany she's like she's like, dude, slowly turn around. And I turn around and I don't know if you guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but
Oh,
standing
dude,
right behind us in line was Charlie, the
what?
waitress, Mac,
Nice.
and D, like the four of them, like the two
What?
couples. And I was like, because we were obsessed with the show at the time.
Yeah.
So we were like, I turned, I'm like, oh my god. And he was like, and we are all drunk. She's like, we have to say something to them because I feel like, and I was like, no, dude, I don't want to bother them on their day off. So like we didn't. And then like we didn't say anything in line. And then the night goes past, and then like we ran into them at the bar again. And this time people are like talking. So like finally went up to Charlie and we took a picture with Charlie.
Dude, that's
And he was so cool. He was so
I
nice
love
and so
Charlie Day.
friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I love Charlie. He
Dude,
was really cool about it. Tiffany had the picture. She posted it on Facebook.
he's our
And
new Luigi.
I know.
Yep.
And then she deleted her Facebook, so now the picture does not
Oh,
exist anymore. So I don't have it anymore.
I
dude,
hate
Gone
that.
forever.
it's
Like,
always sunny, man. Like the first, like honestly, I'd say like the first 10 seasons are amazing.
Yeah.
But then it kind of takes a little dip, but not in a bad way. I still love it. I still watch
Yeah.
it like all the time. But those early episodes are just
Yeah.
classic.
I like Die Hard for the first like six
Oh yeah,
seasons. Like, man, yeah. Like
fantastic. Just
still a good show. Love that. Love everybody involved.
oh, same. Like I still watch it, and yeah, I think it's such a great show. Such a great show.
I get so
Um,
excited. I'm like, that's Rickety Cricket, or like just
Dude.
like any
well,
side
conventions are
character.
so like random too. Like you never know. Like you always almost have to have that camera ready because we were on a
Mhm.
shuttle like for Comic Con one year, and like ours was in front of Petco Park. These two chicks get on the shuttle, the same shuttle as ours, and one of them, I told my brother, that looks like the girl from was the show NCIS, the one with the black hair and the bangs,
Oh
kind of
yeah.
Oh
goth
yeah,
looking. I forget her name.
Mhm.
yeah.
She looked like I was like, that really looks like her. And then the girl behind her looked a lot like Jamie Alexander from when that movie what was it Blind Spot where she had all the
Mhm.
tattoos.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like that. It was them, it was them.
That's
They were
funny.
staying
How
at the
cool.
same hotel or the hotel next to ours, the nicer one, but they were on the same shuttle route. And they're just kind of like walking with their heads down, like trying to go unnoticed. But because I told my brother, those girls cosplayed that really good. I thought it was them. I'm like,
That's
damn.
great. Oh, I was going to say, speaking of It's Always Sunny, real quick, Mythic Quest, watch it on Apple TV Plus. I still need to catch up with the new season, but also just real quick, speaking of Apple TV Plus, Ted Lasso is back. The first season or the
Nice.
first episode of season 3 is now on Apple TV. And my God, I am so excited. I have not watched it yet. It came on at 6 o'clock today. But I was, we have to do a live podcast. So anyways, we're going to watch it tomorrow. I'm so excited. I love Ted Lasso so much. I don't even like soccer. I don't even like sports at all. I'm not a sports guy whatsoever, but man, this show it's if you're in mental health or just, it's just a super, super, just super good show. If a show is too dark on your TV set, do you watch it on your phone or iPad for max brightness? I mean, iPad, I'd say, but it kind of depends on you. One thing I've learned, if you're lying in bed and you want to watch something on your TV, if you're really close to it, it feels like you're in a movie theater watching a really big screen.
Just cover your head.
Yeah, just cover your head. But no, I do iPad for sure. I think iPad is a good bet. So yeah, let us know what Comic Cons you guys are going to go to. Let us know some of your favorite con memories. And yeah, let us know if we'll be seeing you guys any of these Comic Cons coming up. My next one's going to be Rose City Comic Con, which is the Comic Con over here in Portland. So that one should be a lot of fun. They've announced some comic guests so far, so it's looking to be a pretty good show so far. So I say we need to, the last thing we should talk about today is The Last of Us. Nice. So The Last of Us aired its finale on Sunday. So Christian, you watched it. Please tell us your thoughts. So tell us your thoughts on the episode real quick. Again, spoiler free, but also tell us your thought on the whole season since it's just ended.
The season as a whole was fantastic. If I'm just judging the show, I had high expectations walking in. I think it was more than I had expected. Casting was perfect. Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal, if they don't get nominated this season for Emmys for their roles, it would be so upsetting. I can't even say. I think they paced it kind of perfectly considering the game. I that last episode was the shortest episode of the season, but it didn't need to be that much longer.
Right.
I there's like little things here and there. I'm like, I wish they did it, but I totally understand why they would change it. A lot of the changes that they did made, I think, were for the better. I think it just expanded on like what they already did in the game. I can't wait for what's coming up next. For those of you that don't know, this first game was the happy one. So moving forward, that's about all I'll say. Moving forward, I don't think people are ready for how hard the next season is going to kick your ass. You have no clue what's happening. And if you don't know, don't look into it. Like, just wait.
Yeah. So out of 5, what are you going to give the season?
I would like 4.
You could do point. You could do 4.
I'll go 4.9. Like whatever. Almost
4.9?
Almost perfect. Yeah.
What Did I show you guys this print I got at Emerald City Comic Con?
Sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Seattle Ellie.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what they call her, Seattle Ellie, which I'm like, oh, that's cool.
That's really I love that. Cool. I love that. That's great. But yeah, Christian, I'm completely with you. I feel like the show just it's a home run. Like I don't understand how people, when they adapt video games and stuff, how they just don't get this. Like they don't understand how to take the core of it, because all this. So listen, I mean, The Last of Us it's essentially, there are bits and pieces here and there that are a little bit different, but it goes by the game really well, right? Like it sticks really close to the game, but it still feels like its own thing. Like they're not like throwing this in your face. Like this is I know people who watch the show and who were shocked to find out it's a video game. Like seriously, like I do. My brother was that way. My brother, he had no idea it was based on a video game. And I was like, yeah, it's based on a video game. And that's how good it is, because it's not trying to be the video game. It's still trying to be its own thing, bring it into this new medium. I don't know where that disconnect is. I don't know why some succeed and some fail. I still don't really understand why that is. But this succeeded 100%. And I hope people watch this and they're like, this is what we need to do to make our thing work. Not copy it, but find the things that work and use those to put towards the next property, whatever, BioShock, Tomb Raider, whatever the case may be. Use it and apply it to those. There are certain things, of course, like Super Mario. I'm not expecting like a like a deep character drama.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting Pedro to pop up like he did in that Saturday Night Live sketch or anything like that. But you just have to take what works for the video game and adapt it. And I feel like that's what they did. And a good thing about a video game like this is that everything works. It's easily translatable. And they pulled it off. They did 100%. The last episode was really good. I thought the giraffes was just I love those moments of like this childlike wonder, that you realize that Ellie's just a kid, and Joel is able to kind of look at her as a child, right?
Yeah.
And I love those moments between them. So that was great. Again, it ends just like you'd expect if you play the games, but they do it so well. They do it amazingly. And of course it doesn't, I don't want to, it's not necessarily a cliffhanger, right? I mean, you just kind of end it, but it does end on this moral kind of dilemma that goes on. That's all I'll say. But overall, I'm with you, Christian. I'd say about 4.9 out of 5. Like it's incredible. Like it's great television. It's, and I loved that you rarely saw the infected. Like the infected were such a small part, and they are even in the game too, right? Of course, you have a little bit more interaction with them in the game than they did in the show, but they're really not a big part of the story at all. The story, obviously they're kind of more of a barrier, or I can't think of words right now. Sorry guys, it's 7:47 and daylight savings time has thrown me off completely. It's still throwing me off on Tuesday. Obstacles, throwing obstacles in their way. Of course, that's what they're there for, but otherwise they're not even a big part of the story. So
I'd love, Jason, after you saw the finale, like for us to have a discussion about like that moral question at the end.
Yes,
because it's really fun. Also, Jason, stay away from social media because everybody's talking about it. Like,
I've been staying off of the whole Facebook feed.
Yeah, it's
a bunch of spoiler people on there.
Yeah, but I also like Kevin, like you were saying, I think a big part of what made this so successful is like you can tell like how much reverence like the people who made this show had for the original source material. Like, if it worked in the game, there was no reason to change it. Like there was a lot of like key scenes from the game that were just beat for beat, shot for shot. The dialogue was straight out of the game because it already worked.
100%.
And I think I go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, yeah,
no, and also if you're watching the show, like highly recommend listening to the podcast afterwards.
Yes.
It is one of the most insightful, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. Also, it's not just like they're just sitting there, just like, so this is how we did this, or this is why we did this. It actually adds to the show in a weird way. Like it feels like a companion piece that is, something's missing if you don't listen to it. After listening to it, you're like, I'm glad I listened to that, because you get all the context and you get a lot more of the subtleties, and you understand it a lot better too in a weird way. Like and you understand a lot of their decisions, and it's just listening to those guys talk is just incredible. They have such a good repertoire together that they just know how to talk to each other. And it's just, so check it out. It's the official HBO, The Last of Us companion podcast. It's incredible.
The last one too is
I haven't listened to the last one yet.
Ashley Johnson's on with them, which is awesome.
Oh, really? Dude,
yeah.
So as you said about the casting, right? Bella Ramsey, she is 100%. I love her as Ellie, like perfect casting. But you had mentioned this before about how she looks like an older younger version of Ashley. As watching it last night, I was like, my God.
Like, yeah, it's like, crazy.
They nailed that casting. Like just with like, I feel like they did that on purpose, right? I have to believe that there's some part of the casting that was like, knew what part Ashley was going to play, and they were like, let's find someone to be her daughter. You know what I mean? It's
so crazy because this whole time I've been playing all the games, and at the she's in the opening of this last episode, and like you hear her voice, and they talk about it in the podcast. I think Craig talked about how Troy Baker is like the master of 1,000 voices, and he was like, but when I met him, when I hear his real voice, I don't feel like he's any of those people.
Mhm.
But Ashley is so there. She is Ellie.
She is
like
100%.
it's and
It
then
threw me off.
Yeah,
Like, it
and like
really
so
did.
when I hear her voice, I'm like Ellie. Like you perk up real quick.
Yeah.
I just love Ashley because I'm a Critical Role fan as well.
Oh,
I've been a fan of Ashley's for a long time.
honestly, I don't know much about her work, but like after this and after just her voice work in The Last of Us, I'm very, very interested. And Troy Baker, dude, I still cannot believe that's Booker DeWitt. Like I cannot like he's Joel and Booker. Like I can't. It's so hard to like to balance that in my head.
So
there's two
quick
completely different characters.
little trivia: Troy Baker, when he met Ashley on set, obviously of the first Last of Us.
Uh-huh.
Ashley's fiance or husband now, I'm not sure if they're married. Was originally Troy Baker's roommate. So
Oh,
Troy
really?
introduced Ashley to Brian, and on top of it, Laura Bailey, who plays Abby in 2, is also, they're like just one big family. They're all like best friends. Troy and both Laura and her husband Travis are all like really close friends too. I think they shot something I forgot, and Troy and Laura had a kissing scene. It was like so weird for them because they're so close, and like their husbands and wives were offset or like off camera just watching. Everybody's like laughing at them because they had to kiss. It's so funny. It's so incestuous too, but I love it. I love all of them.
It's so funny.
Really cool.
That's great. Yeah. So I mean, Last of Us got an end. I just saw today they're July 18th. They're releasing a physical release, so they're doing Blu-ray, 4K. They have a really, really beautiful steelbook going out at Best Buy that looks just. Oh, I'm gonna be there day one to get it.
Yeah.
And remember, kids, all because these shows are on HBO and streaming services doesn't mean they will not go away. Things like Westworld are no longer on HBO Max, and that's an HBO show. So, guys, physical media, don't sleep on it. You might not be able to watch it. So, even though it's streaming on something, if you want it, get it, because there's a big chance it won't be streaming on there it'll be streaming on there for a while, but not very long. So
plus just having it in your collection, I think adds to it,
Yeah.
100%. I need to get The Last of Us Part 1. I want to get the remaster for the PS5 because I only have it digitally. I'm like, I want it because I have the Last of Us Part 2 physically, and I want to get the Part 1. That'd be really cool. So yes, physical media, it's the way to go. Anyways, guys, I think that's our show. Thank you guys for joining us. Christian, Jason, it's always a blast talking to you guys, man. We talked about Oscars, Comic-Con, Last of Us. Let us know, guys, in the comments what you guys think of The Last of Us. Are you guys excited for season 2? And yeah, let us know what you guys thought of that finale and the whole season. As usual, you can find, Pastrami Nation, please find us on social. Jason, where can they find you? They can find you on MySpace,
Napster, AOL. You have to have the disc for AOL though.
Go to Napster and download Jason Smith. See what happens. I'm very curious to find out. Christian, they could find you on all the socials as well. Where can they find you at again?
You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Christian Nacorda, no space.
Awesome. Very cool. And of course, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Again, I love attention. So come find me, come talk to me. I'll be happy to answer questions. You guys want to ask me anything? Ask me anything. Please stop on by. Say hi. Kevin_Hoskinson on most of them, or just Kevin Hoskinson. You'll find us. Yeah, don't forget to join us every Tuesday for a brand new Pastrami Nation. Next week will be Pastrami Nation's Brick Therapy. We'll be talking Lego and more. Some really, really cool Lego sets were announced, man. Indiana Jones, but we'll talk about those a little bit next week. So yeah, guys, until then, be safe. Don't do anything stupid and just have fun. Live your life, man. Have a good time. Go watch Scream 6. That's what everyone should do.
That's what I'm doing.
You definitely should. All right, you guys. We will talk to you guys later, and have a good day, night, Right now it's night, but whenever you listen to it, it might be day. Anyway, I
Yeah.
gotta stop babbling. Bye, guys.